Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. First off, before I jump into this absolute ridiculousness, today is July. I wish it was. It's January 13th, Friday the 13th, and there might be some absolutely huge news dropping today in our community. So if you want to stay up to date, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, turn it to all notifications, and stay in the know. One thing I want to say is that after the Bruen decision, when the Supreme Court slapped the handful of anti-gun states down a notch or 10, each state all the states were kind of like, hey man, how do we do this? How do we fix our, tyrannical ways? And New York was the first step to the plate, right? We've chronicled New York. They're getting their teeth knocked in, but they were like, everything is sensitive. We're going to have to give you a permit, but you just can't carry anywhere. And then New Jersey followed suit, and Delaware followed suit. California did so as well. Also, Illinois, the most recent, and Maryland, we've even heard from them. And each time a state comes out, each one tries to one-up the previous, and they try to get a little more bold and a little more brash when it comes to restricting the Second Amendment, trying to make it impossible for us, Americans, to be able to utilize and exercise our right, not theirs, to protect ourselves by, like the Supreme Court said, carrying a concealed handgun in public to protect ourselves. And yesterday, I got an email from someone here in Massachusetts, and then I dug a little deeper, and I was made aware of one bill that was filed here in Massachusetts, but I dug and found 10 bills in Massachusetts, and oh my, wait until you hear what Massachusetts' response to Bruen is. And people ask me, Jared, why did you buy a house in Tennessee? Especially my family. I know some of you will watch this. This is why, because I knew this trash was coming, especially with Maura Healey, the then anti-gun attorney general, now as governor with an attorney general that took her place that's even worse than she was. I'm going to give you the 10 bills real quick. I'm going to give you a quick synopsis because I can't get the actual links yet because they're not out. But these are something crazy. These were all filed by Representative Linsky out of Natick, and Linsky is a heap of clown trash. He is an ass clown, has been for many, many years. He hates the Second Amendment because he's, a snowflake, woke, soft, mushy communist. And this is what he said before I get to the 10 bills. While the Massachusetts legislature has been a national leader in passing effective legislation that addresses gun violence prevention, we're the most gun violent state in all of New England because they have made people victims. They've made them felons in wait. But we'll just keep going with the bullshit. There are more measures that can be taken, said Representative Linsky. I'm proud to file bills that would make important and crucial steps in reducing gun violence and preventing further tragedies from occurring. Not one law ever passed on the books has made a criminal say, I can't do that because it's illegal. In fact, why don't we just make murder illegal? Then we wouldn't have to worry about these things. Oh, wait. Yeah, about that. So here are some bills that they pre-filed, to empower criminals and make citizens just subjects waiting to get slaughtered. Here we go. The first one is HD 352. It's an act relative to 3D printed weapons and ghost guns. And his stuff says 3D printed guns and ghost guns are untraceable firearms without serial numbers that constitute a significant public safety and public health threat to our Commonwealth and our nation. Well, it's still legal in Massachusetts to make your own firearm. They're trying to stop that, and that's what this bill is here. I'm not even going to read the rest of his bullshit because it's just that. It's bullshit. The next one is HD 361, an act to require liability insurance for gun ownership. So, San Jose can do it, then why can't the Commonwealth of Massachusetts? They're going to try to force people to buy liability insurance for gun ownership. HD 363, an act requiring live fire practice for firearms licenses. Now, I've mentioned this to people over the years, these types of bills that have been filed in multiple states. And some people are like, well, yeah, that's a good idea. Well, yeah, it is a good idea, except it's not on the government to tell us that we need to train. It should be on a responsible gun owner to realize that, look, if I need to actually employ this tool, I should probably be really proficient at this tool, and the only way to do it is to actually practice with it. So we don't need the government to tell us what we need to do and how, but he wants at least 5 hours of live fire range time with discharge of firearms, rifles, and shotguns. All of those are firearms. See how stupid he is? At a licensed gun club, including a discharge of at least 50 rounds of ammo. So that's a qualification round. The next one is HD 357, and it's an act to close the large capacity magazine loophole. What is the large capacity magazine loophole? People who don't live in a communist state might be saying, huh, what is that? Well, the Clinton assault weapon ban of 1994, everything in the country was put on hold for a decade. Well, in Massachusetts, they never sunsetted that. We just adopted it and carried it on because, yeah, gun safety, woo! So you have items like that have been around for a long time, pre-ban, and those are what they're considering to be the magazine loophole items. So like a Glock Gen 2 or Gen 1 17-round magazine, they can fetch like $120 in this state for something that is like, I don't know, 30-year-old plastic. It's insane. But this is what he says in this blurb. Under current Massachusetts law, the sale, offering for sale, transfer, or possession of large capacity feeding devices is prohibited unless such a device was lawfully possessed on or before September 13th of 1994, which is when the Clinton ban went into effect. This law, however, is not enforceable as there's no way to distinguish between pre-94 large capacity feeding devices and post-94 magazines. Because you're stupid. The legislation would require anyone in the possession of a large capacity feeding device to register your magazines with EOS, which is the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security. This is coming to a state near you. Believe me. HD 368 is another one. An act relative to universal background checks. This is going to criminalize the private person-to-person sale. Massachusetts, we have what's called a license to carry. We call them LTCs. You go through a rigorous background check. Your chief of police in your municipality has to okay you because they can deny you if they don't like you. I don't know. You look like you're a Yankee fan, so we're not going to give you that. And that's called suitability. And yeah, it's kind of like good character and good cause. And yeah, they took that away, but they codified it. So they kind of tried to go around Bruin. But this would criminalize any person-to-person transfers because you've already gone through all of those background checks. And if you have that card, in Massachusetts, you're as pure as the undriven snow. But they want to criminalize that and force everything to go to an FFL. Why? Because Massachusetts registers firearms. So we have to just beef up that registry. They don't know what you have. HD 355, the next one, is an act establishing an institute within the Department of Public Health. And he says that gun violence is a major public health crisis. No, it's not. And there is a lack of research into the causes of firearm violence. Friggin' criminals. That was easy. But he wants to do like the feds are trying to do with the CDC, to have a health agency say it's a public health crisis and we must take away these guns because the people just don't know how to act with them. Well, stop empowering the criminals who do the violent crime, and that will take care of it pretty much on its own. But what do I know? I just did that for a couple decades. HD 370 is an act to prevent illegal trafficking and gun violence among youth in the Commonwealth. Well, if you aren't old enough for an LTC and you have a gun that's already illegal, if you're selling guns and you don't have either A, an LTC to possess that gun, or B, if you're not an FFL, well, that's already illegal state level and federal level. But let's see what else he wants to do, because there's always hidden stuff. This legislation would require all guns sold to be designated or equipped with the ability to microstamp ammunition. And there you have it, folks. A microstamping law that's already been challenged and is waiting on further stuff in California because that technology doesn't even frigging exist. Well, we want to do that here because we want to do what California does and one-up it. So yeah, they want to. This technology is easy, accurate, and inexpensive. It's actually extremely expensive because ammo manufacturers and/or gun manufacturers will have to team up and make sure there's enough space on a casing and create the tooling to do this and make it different for every single firearm. It's not cheap, nor is it easy, and it's not even a thing. So that's a backdoor gun ban. If we pass this, well, you can't buy any gun that doesn't have microstamping. Sorry, I'm getting fired up. An act, HD 365, an act to clarify the prosecution of illegal guns. Well, that's pretty easy. The Attorney General says to all the prosecutors, the state prosecutors, hey, if somebody is illegally possessing a gun, they're a criminal, and they hurt somebody because they're breaking laws and stuff, they're murderers and all that stuff, well, maybe actually do your job and prosecute them. But this is Massachusetts. Can't do that. Can't prosecute the criminals. The intent of this legislation is to make it clear that both firearms, which are explicitly banned by their make and model name, as well as a copycat version of the same firearms, which are essentially the same, are banned under mass law. Yeah. HD 356, an act increasing penalties for the illegal sale and possession of firearms. Well, you wouldn't need to increase the penalties if you just did your damn job and prosecuted those people, but this would make it harsher, probably for the law-abiding people, if they could jam them up somehow. HD 353 is an act banning semi-automatic firearms. Let me say that again. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Representative Linsky out of Natick, has just filed a bill to ban every semi-automatic firearm, to ban the Second Amendment. Yes, that's how stupid this doughboy is. This legislation would ban all privately owned semi-automatic firearms. This legislation would also introduce a gun buyback program. Well, you didn't buy my damn gun, you didn't sell it to me, so you're sure as shit not buying it back. By enforcing a penalty of 18 months in prison and a fine of $5,000 for each weapon, the Commonwealth would drastically reduce the amount of semi-automatic weapons in the hands of the public. Linsky, come and get them if you're man enough. Come and get them. And everybody else in the Mass Legislature or any other anti-gun legislature, stack up and try. The American people are sick and tired of your bullshit, and we will rectify this country. Keep pushing. America and Americans have a Second Amendment right for people like you. The founders knew you were there. There were more Tories than there were Patriots, and they knew that you guys wouldn't go away, and you'd try your bullshit again. And that's why we get the right to defend ourselves. Guys and gals, sound off down below what you think of Representative Linsky here in Massachusetts. I'll leave his contact information in the description and in the pinned comment. Don't matter where you live, if you value your Second Amendment, first off, subscribe to the channel because I do this every day. And second of all, call him, email him, message him, hit him on all of his social media, and tell him what a fluffy ass clown he really is. Guys and gals, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate each and every single one of you. Remember, we might have some shocking news today, so subscribe to the channel and stay on the lookout today. And until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. That's what it's for. Linsky, it's not going anywhere, no matter what you think. And stack up and try. I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.